a time that I went into a dark place or a depression, you say, well, I'm gonna just bring up this one particular time because it was sort of recent. There was this one time where I actually had suicidal thoughts, and I actually was thinking about, taking my life. But let me stop right there because I know there's someone that's watching this video like, how can someone take their life, and why would somebody take their life, and why would people think that, it's easier. I just want to say this, it's easier said than done, okay? Because I once was on the same side as you, looking from the outside, looking in, okay? What happens is when we don't understand something, we quick to speak on it. Be slow to speak on something you have no understanding. You may feel you have understanding, but if you can come off judgmental, you actually don't understand it. And there's something that I had to repent for because, and I'm just so, even today, like, I'm thankful for the time where I had the suicidal thoughts. I know that sounds crazy, because now it allowed me to see from the other side. Now I see why people do it. It's spiritual. It's spiritual. It's spiritual. People are so quick to say you need to just go see a doctor. You need to probably take some medications, and I'm not against that. I'm not. That's what people want to do. However, my father is my doctor. I go to him first. Now, does that mean that he doesn't use doctors? Yes, he does. He uses nurses and doctors. I'm a nurse. God used me in numerous of situations. But I go to him first now. So anyway, let me get back to my point. There was this one particular time where I was having suicidal thoughts, and what led up to that, I actually was on a road. I was on a road working down in Florida. Before I went to Florida, prior to me going to Florida, I remember people saying, Tish, are you gonna go down there? COVID is high, because this was about 2021, I believe. And people was like, it's high down there, and a lot of people are dying. And I went with faith. I was like, you know what? God got me, God got me covered, and God is not gonna let nothing happen to me. I didn't believe that God will let nothing happen to me, and so let me fast forward, right? So anyhow, I went to work with faith, even to that particular day when I had suicidal thoughts. I went into the building with faith. So prior to that day, a few days led up to that, there were some people getting sick on different units. And I'll never forget, just hearing, this person had to go home, this person was sick, this person caught COVID, this person. So just listening to the different stories, I kind of allowed the spirit of fear, I'm going to say the spirit of fear, to creep in to the point where the day I had the suicidal thoughts, there was this young man that I was working with. He's a good friend that worked with me. And I remember him coming up to me, and he was telling me, like, he was using this oil to prevent him from catching COVID. And he explained to me the lady that gave it to him was actually, I can't remember if she's from Haiti or I don't know, but she's from out the country. Anyhow, she used the same oil for her and her children to prevent from catching COVID, right? Okay. So he was explaining to me. He said, yeah, she just told me to put it on my inside of my mask, and put my mask on, and something about the odor, it prevents, this and that. So she ends up walking up as he was explaining to me, and I take the bottle. Mind you, I'm turning the bottle around, looking at it, and I'm like, okay. So I'm on my phone at the same time because I'm trying to look it up, but I didn't see a name on it, So I'm like, where's the name? I'm like, where's the name of this oil that you're using? And she was like, oh no, I think she said she made it up or something. I'm not sure, I can't remember. But anyhow, I couldn't find it. And there was a symbol on it, which is a symbol I never seen before. So I too took the oil and put it on the inside of my mask and put my mask on. All right. So now here it is. I'm believing in this oil to prevent me from catching COVID. Right. And so I'm walking throughout the hospital. Time go by, and it's almost time for my shift to end. And all of a sudden, I get these lustful thoughts. Right. I get these lustful thoughts, and I'm like, different men walking by, and I'm like, wait a minute, why am I having these thoughts, Father? To the point it was scaring me. Like, I went down to the car, because the shift was ending. I went down, I actually ran down to my car, because I wanted to talk to God. And I'm like, God, why am I having these lustful thoughts about men? I don't like this. Like, what is this? I don't think like this. Mind you, I've been celibate for, X amount of years at this point. So I'm like, I have no idea. So I'm talking to God. So as I'm driving to the hotel, I'll never forget. Now, suicidal thoughts start coming through my head. I start hearing voices about God not love me, how I need to just go ahead and kill myself, to the point where it was like, oh my gosh, I'm like, what is this? So I get into my room, and it's even worse at this point. So I text my children. I'm like, hey, I'm tired right now. I'm gonna go to sleep. I didn't want to let them know what was going on, because I'm like, I really didn't have an understanding what's going on. Which, however, I knew it was spiritual, but I'm like, I didn't know. It didn't dawn on me about the oil at this point, right? Didn't dawn on me. So I'm like, okay. I text them. So I put my phone on Do Not Disturb. I'm like, I don't want to be bothered with nobody. And I ended up crying myself to sleep. I couldn't go to sleep. I'm up hearing these voices. I'm ready to kill myself. I didn't want to kill myself. But at this point, I'm like, I want to take my life. I can't take it anymore. And I'll never forget, I turned on the audio Bible. Mind you, this is something that I started at the beginning of my walk. This is what always helped me cope with sleeping. So I turned on my audio Bible and I fell asleep. Mind you, I remember waking up that next morning, and I told God, I said, I'm going to just take my life. I can't take it anymore. And I never forget, as it got worse and worse, I ended up hearing this verse from the Word, the Bible. And it talked about casting down, like pulling down strongholds, casting down your imagination or thoughts or what have you. And I'm like, wait a minute, rewind that back. I'm like, rewind, because I've heard it before, but it hit different this time, So I'm like, rewind it, I'm like, rewind it back. And rewinding it back, I kept listening to it over and over, over and over, over and over, over and over, over and over. And each time that I listened to it, I felt like God giving me strength to overcome these thoughts. In a spiritual realm, it was like every thought, I was like, God was pulling it down. It was being pulled down, where, it was, I believe it was 2 Corinthians 10, where it said, cast down imaginational thoughts or what have you, pull down strongholds or something like that. But I was pulling it down in the spiritual realm, where God was, not me, was pulling it down to the point where I was able to overcome my thoughts. And I want to say around that time is when I thought about the oil. And I'm like, oh my goodness, this oil I took and put on my, my face, right? So I'm like, oh my goodness, right? I'm like, oh my gosh. So I'm thinking about that, and I'm like, God, I'm sorry. I started repenting and, renouncing and what have you, because I knew I had messed up. I knew at that moment that I had idolized the oil. The oil had became an idol to the point where I lost faith in God, and I know that sounds kind of like crazy, right? I had to lose faith in order for me to put the oil on to protect me, to prevent me from catching COVID, when I had already had faith in God, that God had me covered. So it was because I had idolized this oil. Not sure what was done to the oil prior, but all I'm speaking of was, I know I idolized it. I know that I put the oil before I put God. So by me idolizing it, it was like I allowed the enemy to creep in, and to the spirit of fear to creep in to consume me, and then the spirit of suicide crept in right behind it. And because I've opened that door, I open that door and allow those different spirits to creep in, the spirit of lust, the spirit of fear, the spirit of suicide, the spirit of anxiety, all of those spirits. When I said Jesus said they come back 7 times strong, like, God have delivered me from things. And by me opening that door, it was a whole bunch of more spirits that came in that was consuming me. So I just want to leave that with you all. Don't be so quick to judge someone that suffer with suicide. I am thankful that God allowed me to experience that. Not saying that I'm happy about it, but it did give me a better understanding, because I had no understanding when I used to see people do such a thing. I will always be, why would they do that? That's a coward. No, it's spiritual. It's spiritual. Instead, I want to leave this with you. Before you go to speaking on someone that has suicidal, thoughts or what have you, do one thing for them. Pray for them. Because the battle is way stronger than what you think. We were told that it's our mental. It's spiritual. It's spiritual. Because God said, I say Father is my Father, your Father, if you believe in Jesus Christ, right? You do. So Father said that I did not give you the spirit of fear, but of power, love, and a sound mind. So if he blessed us with a sound mind, then the spirit of fear is something he did not gift us with.
'Cause I was lost until you found me. Now I know you're all around me. Nothing I could ever do can separate my